All right, great Monday morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Says I'm Maspoto Jr. with Manufactured Home Sales Mastery in with our Monday, June 3rd, start of the month. 15 minutes to master. We're coming in here as we always do to share some information, inspiration, and motivation. And today I want to talk about a very, very important topic that has to do with all of us in sales and in any type of sales, and that's complacency, the risk of complacency, the seriousness behind it, and why we need to avoid it, how we can avoid it, because complacency can kill a sales career in an instant. All right. Today's quote comes from John P. Cotter, and it says, complacency is almost always the product of success or perceived success. Complacency is almost always the product of success or perceived success. So when you think you have reached success, when you think you have done well, when you think that you've made it, that's when complacency can sink in. Or maybe you did, maybe you had a big win, maybe in May you had a great month, you delivered a whole bunch of homes, got fun, made a whole bunch of money, and you've let your foot off the gas. In June you start off the month slow, you're not as urgent about things, you let things slip because you feel that I did well, I've got some money in the bank now, and so I'm gonna relax a little bit. And that's all fine and dandy, with the exception of one thing. You lose all momentum, and then you're rebuilding your pipeline, you're rebuilding your career, and a lot of folks, a lot of housing consultants have suffered from this. We've lost so many potentially great housing consultants throughout the years in different companies. It's just a standard thing in this industry to have that happen, where complacency will end the career for someone who you thought was going to do really well, who did really well. He or she did great for a few months, and then they just got complacent, weren't putting in the same amount of work as they were before. They weren't as focused in their work as they were before, and next thing you know, they're no longer in the business. And so we want to talk about that. We want to make sure that that is not going to happen to you. Not only did we just in the month of May and we're starting off June, but we're almost halfway through the month. So this is a great topic to discuss right now, because we want to make sure that you are building up steam to end the year off strong as well. Every moment counts, and you'll figure that out the longer that you're in this industry, that you've got to stay on top of your game. Right now, the stagnation that can happen during complacency, okay, there's different forms of it. Like I mentioned, you may stop your marketing, you may stop the amount of follow-up calls you make, you let potential home buyers put you off for a while, and you think that that's okay because, well, like I said, you made some money, so you got some money, so maybe I don't need to move these as fast as I did the others. And so that complacency, that stagnation not in your business, comes from stagnation in you as a housing consultant. You're not learning as much as you used to. You're not being as intentional with your marketing. You're not being as intentional with your follow-up calls. You're not being as intentional in pushing your current pipeline. And then the longer those deals take, the more you start to lose, because as we always say, this, time kills deals, right? So you start to get that stagnation in yourself, which stems from stagnating in the things that you were doing before. Another thing that can happen is you start to lose that edge about you. You start to approach the day differently. You start to approach the business differently, because you feel, again, you had some success, and then you feel that you've got it. You don't have to be as competitive as you were before. You think that it's just going to happen from here on out. And I'm here to tell you, after a 14 plus year career in manufactured home sales, it doesn't just continue. You've got to continue to put in the work. You've got to be just as hungry, if not even hungrier, than you were when you first started, in order to keep that momentum going and keep that success going and growing. Okay. it takes the same amount of work, the same amount of effort, the same amount of focus and competitive edge. And you lose that competitive edge when you start to get complacent. And that can lead to a loss of momentum as well, right? And so with that being said, right, think about that. You start to not market as much. You start to not make as many phone calls as you do, or maybe you do, but you're not making them with the same intentionality. You're not handling your pipeline the same way as you were before. Well, all of that is going to result in you performing differently. It's obvious. Your performance will be different. You're going to, even your sales process, your sales presentation is going to suffer with that. These are all little things that happen that we don't even stop to think about. You think that you're speaking a certain way. You think that you're being just as emphatic as you were before. You think that you are being as impactful with your messaging, with your urgency, with everything that you do. But when you get quote unquote fat and happy, you're not as intense. You're not as intentional. You don't come across the same way. So what happens? You don't make the same kind of impact on your potential homebuyers as you were doing the month before that, or whatever led to you reaching that success that you had the month prior. And because of that, you have less influence. And with lesser influence comes less business. So not only are you affecting your current business, but you're affecting your future business when you get complacent. And that's why we say it affects sales careers tremendously when you do that. So you want to make sure that you are not allowing yourself to get complacent. And the biggest thing here is this. You have to check your ego at the door. No one wants to admit that they're getting complacent. No one wants to admit that they're getting fat and happy. No one wants to admit that they're letting their foot off the gas. Everyone wants to seem like they're just as intense, just as hungry, just as doing everything that they're supposed to do, like they have always done it. When the truth of the matter is, you're not. And so that's why I'm coming to you this Monday, the start of June, not to jump down your throat, but to just remind you, make you aware, do not let complacency sink in, because it is so very hard to start over again. And most people are not built to start over again. Most people, they lose something, they give up. They give up and they don't start to put in the work again. They'd rather just say, oh, well, I tried it. I made some money, but it wasn't really for me. It didn't work out. So I'm just going to go try something else now. As opposed to saying, you know what? I screwed up. I messed up. I took my foot off the gas. I took my eye off the ball. I got complacent. I stopped marketing, making the calls the way that I should have, and pushing my deals the way that I should have. So the business fell apart because of me. So I need to rebuild it. Most people aren't cut out for that. Most people won't do that. They don't have the grit to get that done, because lifting that boulder and rolling it back up that hill and building that momentum again is tough. It's very tough. So instead of having to do that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just coming to you and saying, do not allow yourself to get complacent in anything that you do. Business and in life, you've got to keep on top of it. You got to keep that edge about you to be able to operate in the manner that you did. So what are the best ways to be able to make sure that we're not getting complacent? Okay. We're going to run through the top 5 here that I've come up with, and so that we can make sure that you aren't allowing yourself to get complacent. And a lot of this is about just making sure you're keeping it fresh. You're keeping it fresh, that it doesn't become something monotonous, routine. Although routines are good, you don't want that routine to start to affect you negatively, right? So you've got to be able to keep it interesting for you. So we start off, first of all, by setting goals for your continuous improvement. You've got to start off by figuring out, what do I need to learn? What should I be learning? What can I get better at? What can I improve? What have I not learned? What is out there in the business? What's changing with the industry that I could maybe take some time to learn about? Maybe you should learn about what's going on with these cross mods and what's going on with zoning issues across the country. Don't just think about your little your town that you're in or your city that you're in and the business within your city and your competitors around you. Look at this industry at a national level because we are a national industry. You are part of the housing solution for this country. So there's plenty that you can learn. There's plenty that you can apply yourself to get better at. So set some goals for some continuous improvement. All right. Whether it's, hey, I want to attend these workshops, I want to be part of this webinar, training sessions. You know that we here at Manufacturing Home Sales Master, we put on stuff. We've got things on our website that you can be a part of, things of that nature. We do ongoing daily training as well. You want to be a part of that. We do that every day at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. So you've just got to set those goals to develop your own professional skills and enhance the ones that you've got. Even if you're great at phone calls, just an example, there's still things you can do to get better. So just look at that and set some goals to keep the mind fresh, because the more you learn, the more you apply yourself, the more you push yourself, the better you are, the more focused you get, the more disciplined you become. That confidence leads to greater things. So continue to grow. And the next thing that we want to do is also to regularly review and adjust your goals. Now, you're not adjusting your goals down, okay? If you come in, right now it's June and you should have sold X amount of houses through May and you haven't, it doesn't mean that, well, I'm not going to hit that number at the end of the year, so I'm going to reduce my goal. No, it's about adjusting your routine. It's about adjusting the numbers, the KPIs that you've got to hit from here on out through the rest of the year to hit those numbers. If you didn't do in May what you needed to do, then you've got to adjust your numbers in June to make sure that you're increasing. To never reduce the goal. Never reduce the goal. Because when you think about it, if you set a goal, most times people wind up between 80 to 90% of that goal. So if you reduce the goal, now you're another 20% lower than what you were even going to try and do in the first place. Now you're down 40%. So never reduce down, or adjust, never adjust down, but adjust them so that you can hit the higher numbers. Next thing to do is to seek feedback and mentorship. Look to your management, look to the ownership, hire an accountability coach. Do these things that are going to get you the feedback. Talk to your customers. Find out what went right, what went wrong. What did you do well? What could have been improved? Seek that feedback so that you can continue to get better. Because here we will tend to look at ourselves and say, hey man, I had a great month. So obviously I did a lot of good things. But we personally will not scrutinize ourselves. I could have gotten better at this. I could have done this better. I should have done this better. So by seeking out that feedback, you'll get honest feedback, hopefully, and you can't get offended by it. You've got to be able to take that feedback and grow and keep moving forward. The next thing would be to obviously stay engaged and motivated. Now, we talk about motivation, right? I hate using the word motivation just because some of you take it the wrong way. Motivation is just a passion. All right. Motivation is not what carries you forward. That motivation should build your purpose. That motivation should be grounded in your passion. That passion leads to a purpose, and that purpose is what you go after. Okay. But you have to stay engaged. You have to make sure that you're motivated. You have to keep those things in mind so that you are going after things that are important to you. Celebrate the wins. When you have those wins, if May was a great month for you, I hope that you took a little bit of time this weekend and celebrated that. Today's Monday, man. It's time to go again. But celebrate the wins that you've got when you've got them, when you get them. Okay. And lastly, you want to embrace change and innovation. You've got to continuously be evolving. You yourself have to understand that you need to change. You need to evolve. You need to continue to grow. You need to continue to get better so that you can continue to reach higher levels. There is always that next level. And the way you keep hitting next levels is by operating at an elite level. Not good, not great, not even outstanding. You need to be elite. When you're elite, you will continue to get better. How does a Tom Brady have the career that he does in the NFL of 20 plus years? Most NFL championships than any other player out there. As a quarterback, leading teams, different teams to the Super Bowl to win championships. This guy was not good. He wasn't great. He wasn't even outstanding. He operated at an elite level and he continued to improve himself year after year after year. Some years weren't as great as others, right? So he didn't win the Super Bowl every year, but that man was always out there continuing to get better for himself. And that's what you need to do. Embrace that change, continue to evolve, continue to grow, and understand that you don't have it all and you can always get better. And that takes seeking out the help of other folks. So I hope that this helps you in your career and you understand that avoiding complacency is so important in business, in sales, and in life. Take that, run with it, and let's make this week a great week. Make June your best month yet. And as always, we're here to help you at Manufacturing Home Sales Mastery to take your life, your business, your career to a whole new level. So reach out to us. And I'm getting on a plane tomorrow. I'll be out in Phoenix for the next couple of days with the Cobblestone Real Estate Group out there and their communities. So I'm looking forward to that. You'll see some stuff on that over the next few days as well. And then we'll be in West Virginia the following week and then in Orlando the week after that. But we're here. We're putting our class together. We're doing our training. We want to make sure that we're here to support you in your career in manufactured home sales. You guys have a great day. Have a great week. And as always, I can't wait to meet you.